Welcome to Looking Thru Purple Glasses. Here is your host, Laura Levy.
Welcome back to another episode of Looking Thru Purple Glasses. I am your host, Laura Levy, and today I am so happy to have Jose Bonilla with me. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Jose Bonilla is one of the best agents I've ever worked with in my entire 33-year career, and I am super excited to talk about his journey in the real estate industry, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market right now. So Jose and I met, I don't know, how long ago now?
It's been, I think it was like 15 years ago now.
It's flown by. Jose got his license in real estate about 15 years ago and started working at Paisano Realty. A shout out to Angel Hernandez over at Paisano Realty, because I know he kind of took you under his wing when you were freshly graduated.
Absolutely.
So why don't you just kind of share with our listeners, I know you grew up here in Denver, but a little bit about who Jose is.
Perfect. Yeah. So again, Jose Bonilla, I am born and raised in Denver. I am a father of two beautiful kids. I have my wife, Renee, and I started off, honestly, this is weird. I feel like a lot of people kind of default into this career, but for me, it's something that I actually was really, that piqued my interest when I was young. So this is like back in, I think like 7th, 8th grade. My dad actually started doing a lot of investments, fix and flips, some buy and holds and all that good stuff. And I was really intrigued. So actually, Sam Cardenas, who is an amazing agent here in the Denver metro area, was my dad's agent back then. And I just remember riding around in his car and looking at all these beautiful homes and all that good stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I want to be a real estate agent when I grow up. So
shout out to Sam for setting such a good example.
Yeah. So that was really cool. It was something that I really wanted to do. And at that point, I still wanted to go to school. I actually ended up going to CU Boulder.
Go Buffs.
Yeah, go Buffs. That means something different now, which is great. So I went to school for a while. I didn't end up graduating. I actually just basically went into real estate at a very young age. So the first time I actually went into real estate school, I was 17 years old. And I didn't end up taking the exam or anything like that. I actually just went to CU. Then I went back and I took it, got my license, all that good stuff. So this was January of 2010. So if you're familiar with the Great Recession back then, it was literally the bottom of the market. So while everybody was getting out of real estate, I was barely jumping in and I was excited. So that's when I started working with Angel Hernandez, Raul Hernandez, Omar Hernandez, with Juan Gallegos, all of these like heavy hitting agents, rock stars that I basically got the opportunity to learn from. And so my dad is really the biggest influence that I had for getting into real estate. You know, my dad's always been my hero. He was doing so much when like back then is like, I didn't see any examples of that around me other than my dad. So that was big. And then Angel Hernandez was like my next mentor, right? Like he really taught me the game. He taught me how to do things the right way, you know, taught me a different form of real estate than what you would see. And so that journey was like 9 years at Paisano Realty. Wow. I was there for 9 years. Towards the end of that, I started getting coaching through Danny Morell, which you know.
I do know Danny.
Yeah. So Danny and I started working together. And from there, I kind of started branching off doing my own thing. I went to Keller Williams, and in Keller Williams, I was there for 4.5 years. And I just recently transitioned out of that. And we'll talk about that here in a bit. But while I was at Keller Williams, at that point, and I guess I got to go back a little bit. So I started doing really well in real estate. So basically went from selling, 15 homes a year to 30 homes a year to 40 to 50. So my last year at Paisano, I did 48 home sales that year, which was great. And so kept moving up from there while I was at Keller. And in 2020 was the first year that we hit over 100 home sales. And so that was a big accomplishment for my team and I, and it was just a small team. It was 3 salespeople at that point. So that was a really cool feat that we got to. And then we basically have been averaging that for the last few years. And I ended up running one of the KW offices for about 2 years under Justin Juarez and Brian Smith, who are some of the best people in real estate in the Denver area and some of the best mentors that I've had. Through all of this, I'm still coaching with Danny, and this is the kicker. So just opened up PAK Home Realty here in Colorado. Okay, so I transitioned out of KW and I opened up PAK Home Realty. And what that is basically the same coaching program that I had been under with Danny to a certain degree, and his brother Anthony Morell ended up opening up PAK Home Realty in California. We'll be in 7 states by
Wow.
the end of this month, which is insane because the company's only just over a year old.
Yeah.
And so it's basically the same coaching program or coaching style or whatever you want to call it that they were running through like Intero and Corcoran and all the companies that they were a part of, which is Danny's coaching, turned into a brokerage essentially. And so that's kind of where I'm at now, and I'm still running my team. I'm still in sales. I'm still producing and doing all that good stuff. But yeah, now under PAK.
It's been amazing for me knowing you for these 15 years to watch your growth, not just in the business world, but personally. I know that your personal fitness has been a big success story for you. Do you want to share just a little bit about your personal side of growth through the business and coaching as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like things didn't really start skyrocketing or scaling until I took care of me. Right? When I put myself before the business. And so I feel like there's a certain plateau that we hit, right? So like I was doing a lot of sales, like money was good, like it was great, but then I wasn't seeing my wife and kids. I was overweight. I was not taking care of myself in any sense, right? Relationships, spiritually, health, fitness, the whole thing. And so through the coaching program, when I got into that, that was a big part of it, right? It was like, yeah, we're going to be focusing on business, but we got to focus on the person first. And so throughout that journey, and you know, I got to make this plug in because one of the books that I read that got me started into this personal development was The Miracle Morning.
It's a great book.
Yeah, by Hal Elrod, which I got to meet at one of the intensives that Danny held last year. So that was pretty cool. And so that book, I started following some of those tactics that they have in there and so forth. But essentially, I went from, I was 230 pounds, working 7 days a week, making okay money, which at that point I thought it was great, but obviously things change,
Sure.
in that sense. And so I ended up losing 75 pounds. Right. So I got down to 155. That alone, I mean, just the energy, the different routines that we have to put in place. But on top of that, like just feeding my brain every single day, reading podcasts, setting standards for what I want my schedule to look like with work and hiring help, and leveraging my time and being able to do that. And obviously in that point, providing opportunity for others as well. And so Robert, for example, was like my the first agent that joined my team. He became one of my business partners. And like through that, we just kept scaling and scaling and scaling. And so it got to a point where like now it's great to make money and grow the business and so forth, but you got to prioritize the person first, the family, that, and then the rest of it will come.
Will follow.
So yeah, exactly.
Well, I tell you this often. I am super proud of you, not only because of your success in the business world, but also, just your personal growth. And I've watched your kids grow up and they're amazing human beings, and you're doing such a great job at being a dad, and Renee being such a great job as a mom. And I personally am just super, super proud of, where you are today, and blessed to be your friend and know that I'll be able to consider and continue to see your growth going forward.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know that you practice what you preach. I know you own some real estate around the city, and that that real estate is a path to generational wealth. So let's just talk about kind of the market right now and where we are and what direction you think we're going to be heading.
Yeah, absolutely. To piggyback on that, I feel like, when somebody asks me what I do, it's, I help people change their lives through real estate. Right. And so I really definitely believe in that and embody it. So I got started, doing sales and doing all that, but I became an investor as well. Nowhere near where I want to be, but definitely have made some really great progress with your help as well in the last couple of years, and being able to own, I think we're up to like 8 units right now, and definitely have a goal here in the next 5 years to get to a point where we are hopefully producing enough passive income to pay our bills, to pay our lifestyle, and move forward that way. So right now, the way I see the market is, we've experienced such a crazy market in the last decade, and then, as soon as we saw a market shift, people started, going
panic.
Yeah, panic mode immediately. So, it's really cool to have, people like you and some other mentors around me to kind of put things in place, because I was, I got in this business at the bottom of a recession. So all I've seen is growth. Even though I did get to experience the bottom of the recession, all I've seen was growth. So being able to piggyback off this and it's like, oh my gosh, rates are at 7% or 8%. You're just like, yeah, that's that's not bad. Like it's still not bad rate, right? And trying to convince everybody that it's not is like, okay, well, let's look at the history of it. So that's been a journey in itself in the last couple of years. And so where I see things now, because we just had, I mean, you tell me, we just had the rates drop, right?
We've had a significant decrease in interest rates. And for reference points, we are 4 days away from Christmas, something like that.
Yep,
5 days away from Christmas. Yep. It's just crazy in its own right. But we have seen over the last 2 weeks a pretty substantial dip in interest rates, and we have approached a pretty healthy market right now. You know, you and I talk on a pretty regular basis about educating consumers and how we can teach consumers about what the difference is between a healthy market and an unhealthy market.
Yeah.
And so right now we're not completely in a healthy market yet, but the Fed has paused raising the Fed rate. And so that is an indication that inflation has been curbed and that we are in a spot where hopefully we're going to start to see a continued slow decrease of rates. And so I think, at least from my perspective, it should make for an amazing 2024 for people that have maybe been on the sidelines and realize that a number that starts with a 6 is not a bad rate.
Yeah. First home I bought in 2010. No, 2008, 6.75% interest rate. So yeah. Well, with that said, the way I see things going now is like you said, just increase in sales. We're going to see just because of that rate drop, still going to be low inventory. And just to give everyone, because the coolest thing is this is not a real estate podcast. So that's really cool. So let me, I guess, touch on like a high level overview of what my beliefs are in real estate is that, and not beliefs. I mean, we could check the numbers. At the end of the day, don't wait to buy real estate and wait.
Right.
We know real estate in the long run, in the long term, is going to be a great investment. So it's about affordability. Are you or are you not going to be able to keep up with the payments from where you're at that given point when you make the purchase? Okay. And being able to withstand whatever market dips and changes that we go through, you know, obviously job security and so forth. If that is a lock, then there is no doubt you should be buying real estate right now. At that point in time, right? And then from there, knowing that 3, 4, 5 years, historically speaking, it's going to pan out. You're going to get your equity. You're going to get all that. Now, that's not to bank on that, but you know, there's so many different strategies you can use, whether you're an investor or buying for a primary. Real estate in the long term is going to pan out in your favor.
And historically, that's it's been the spot where people can stay consistent, right?
Yeah.
Stock markets, 401ks. They can always fluctuate a little bit more than what real estate does. For those that don't know Jose at all, what do you do in your free time? What do you like to do when you have a couple of free hours? Because I know you're super busy.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting this one. So let's see. I'm very structured in the way I handle my days. Although I will say that I've been, you know, these last couple of years have been so cool because I've been so much more intentional about what I do in my free time, which is really cool. And so for those of you who don't know, I actually am a hip hop artist as well. So I've been doing music for years now. And so lately I've gotten right back into it and recording newer music. So, you know, I've been doing that. That's fun. My son loves it. And he's actually learned amazing. A lot of like the songs that I'm going to be recording here soon. So that's been really fun, especially when you get to do it together, you know, with the family, is really cool. And then I'm very community based. So it's like, that's my music group. You know, I have my PAK group of people. I love coaching and training, outside of doing my sales, stuff. And then lately I've been getting much more into honestly, just things that I used to enjoy that I haven't made time for that now I'm also doing with my son and my daughter. So like we're going skating more often. Oh, so I've been back on a skateboard, which is really fun. We've been playing chess. So like literally like every other night, Isaiah and I are playing chess. So that's been pretty cool. And yeah, outside of that, I love to just spend time with my best friend, my wife, Renee. And so
Now you've been married for how long?
We have been married now for 11 years.
But you're high school sweethearts.
Yeah. And that's marriage, right? So on the 27th, we're going to have our other anniversary of when we got together. So we got together back in 2005. So I think, what is that? Trying to do math right now. So it'll be 18 years here next week. It'll be 18 years that we've been together. So
Well, the podcast will come out after that, but happy anniversary to both of you.
Thank you.
I also know that you love the local sports teams. You and I get to a couple Avs games a year. I know you get to go to the Broncos. I know you're a Nuggets fan, and I know you're a Buffs fan, obviously. So.
Yes, so I can't wait for this season.
I know.
Gonna be great.
It's going to be exciting to be a Buff fan, that's for sure. So other than that, I really appreciate you coming in today. If people are interested in a couple things, let's cover how they can find you if they're interested in buying or selling. And then secondly, as a follow-up, if we have any agents out there that are thinking about possibly making a change in the companies that they work for, if that's a different way to reach you.
I'm on all the social media platforms, so that's probably the easiest way for most people. My IG handle is Jose Bonilla, and that's JBONILLA. So that's my IG handle. But yeah, just any message on there. Elevate Ave group is my sales team. So if you are somebody who's looking to buy or sell real estate, that's where we can help you out, is through Elevate Ave. I am one of the founders for the Colorado portion of PAK Realty, along with Juan Gallegos. And so PAK Home Realty is the brokerage that we're under, and
that's PAK.
Yes, PAK, professional, accountable, and knowledgeable. So PAK Home Realty. And so that's for any real estate agents that are looking to increase their production, that are looking for coaching without having to pay outside for that. Because I know when I first got into coaching, it was expensive, sure. $1,500, $2,000 a month. And this is part of the brokerage. It's part of the structure that we have to get you to produce more, double your income. So those are the two platforms as far as that goes. And then if you really want to listen to some music that I've done, you can find us on YouTube, Diamond Boys, and that's Diamond, and then Boys is BOIZ. And we got a lot of cool videos on there, and so that'll be fun.
And I also want to give a shout out because you mentioned your dad earlier today.
Yeah.
And your dad owns a pool hall.
Yes.
On like Federal and 20, what is that?
Yeah, so 26th and Federal, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leo's, right?
Yep, so Leo Sports Bar and Billiards, and that's 2525 Federal Boulevard. And I would love to see some of you guys come by, stop by. It is an amazing atmosphere. I think Laura can vouch for that.
Yep,
where it's just
fun.
Yeah, it's really fun, and give you something to do while you have some drinks with some friends and all that good stuff. And if you do end up going, let them know that you heard through Laura's podcast that they should go there. Maybe my dad will hook you up.
Yeah, your dad's kind of a pool shark, I believe.
He's like a semi-pro.
Yeah.
So
don't
try to have a game with him.
To a game unless you plan on losing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again for coming by. You'll be able to find all of Jose's information in the podcast information below. And if you are looking to buy and sell, I work with a lot of agents. Today, Jose, you've been a good friend of mine, and I would suggest anybody that's looking to buy, sell, to give you a call. And I know you're going to have continued success. And thanks so much for stopping by.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Laura.
Have a great day, everybody.